So today we're sowing forage rape for the whalens for the winter. It goes in after the beans. There were beans taken off this field last week. We whole cropped them. It's the first time we whole cropped them, so we'll see how they go. We're just using the disc with the broadcaster on top. That'll just broadcast the seed out over the discs as we go along. So hopefully we'll get a drop of rain. We'll give this a roll after. There's no fertilisers or anything going out with, as we're in what do you call it, conversion to organics. The oats next door are looking quite well. If you can see them, there's a gap in the trees now. There's quite a nice crop of oats. They got no inputs, no sprays or anything on them that way, yeah, they've done quite well. So there'll be a cover crop, I think, going in there as well. Maybe it's winter barley. I can't remember what I'm putting here. I've wrote down below. But there's still one field of beans over there. I left one field. We took off 11 acres and we left 7. It's the first time putting the beans in the pit, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, the cover crop, the forage rape, does two things. It feeds the cattle for the winter, obviously. They strip grazed across it, but also it creates ground cover to stop erosion and loss of nutrients over the winter months. So it's kind of springtime we've been here in this ground. So the cattle will be after covering over for the winter months as such. And then there will be oats in here next year. Probably March, beginning of March, we'll be putting in oats, which will hopefully do well after the beans, because the beans fix their own nitrogen and leave it in the ground, so it'll be there for the next crop. So there'll be no inputs into the oats next year, and as I said, hopefully we'll have a good crop off it next year.